That's us live.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ronan Nazarene Talks. I'm one of your hosts, Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films.
And I'm Nazarene Prod, your other host.
And today we have not one but two special guests. We have SJS Arts.
Hey.
And we have Chris, both from
Hey.
across the water in various directions.
And
And today it's going to be another fun episode, which I'll let my co-host explain.
Yeah, he's letting me explain it because it's my idea and it's my blame if it goes horribly wrong. It's my fault. Basically, that's why he's letting me tell you what it is. Sorry for the delay; it was all my fault. Things happen. So the idea is it's the best worst movie by good directors. So it's good directors who made bad films or films what you consider the worst film. So some of these films, they may be the worst film, but that director may still be good films, or they could be terrible. So we try to we can choose. I've tried to make it up so there's some really good directors. It's really hard to choose if the worst film with other directors would probably pretty easy. So that was the idea. So what we're going to do first is we're going to choose the worst film by each director. There's 16 of them. And then they're going to face off against each other in a death match. Now, if you've been following SGS's channel, you'll know he's the king of the death match at the moment. So he's like, we're expecting real brutality from him. We're expecting like the most brutal damnations of all these directors from him. Chris should be more reasonable. Don't know about Ronan. He's the crazy one of the group. So we'll see what he thinks. And do you want me to read out who the directors are first before we choose? Would that be good?
Or just go with the first one and just go through the list.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll go
surprise.
through each director and we'll choose, and I'll write down which one we chose. Right, and then we'll figure out.
Yeah.
All right, and if you keep on seeing these fall out, it's just because I got new headphones and I'm not very good with them, so they're going to fall out a lot.
Gravity will always let you down.
Yeah. So the first director, who you may have guessed from the actual the thumbnail, is David Lynch. So what I'm going to do is we're going to choose one. Everyone's going to just see what they think the worst film this director is. So I'm going to start off this one, then we go to the next director. We'll do the start, and then we'll just go round and round. To make it fair,
we need to find a consensus or just a majority.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. So if I'd say Dune, even though I adore Dune, I'd say Dune's David Lynch's worst film.
I have Dune as well. For the exact same feelings, Peter.
Yeah, I think Dune is the only choice. It's still like okay film. I don't hate it or anything, but the rest of the films are good or masterpieces. So Dune definitely stands out as the worst one. Yeah.
I mean, I need to rewatch Inland Empire because I wasn't that impressed with it the first time, but I'm going to go with Dune just because it's the least David Lynch film.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's still watchable, obviously.
Yeah. Quite like it.
Yep.
I need to reassess Inland Empire.
Yep. So Dune's the choice. So we'll go to Chris now for the next one. He can start off. So we're going clockwise. Since you went straight in, it's Dune 2, so we're going clockwise now. Or anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise. You've got to say, you got that.
I just realised I said it. It's that thing where you're speaking, you realise I'm just talking nonsense.
50% chance.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
So Stanley Kubrick.
Okay, controversial one. I'm going to go for Clockwork Orange. I'm not a massive fan of Clockwork Orange, but again, it's not a terrible movie by any stretch of imagination. But yeah, Clockwork Orange for me.
Yeah, I was predicting that some people here might go with Clockwork Orange, but I think the only real choice is Fear and Desire because it's not even close to being a good film. It's a pretty awful film, but I think we could also go with Killer's Kiss, but I'm going to go with Fear and Desire.
Just because I haven't actually seen Fear and Desire, I'm going to go with Killer's Kiss.
Okay. I'm going to go with Spartacus, which is a big budget film, but I think it's his most boring film. That's why I think it's his worst.
Okay.
And I do actually like Fear and Desire, even though it's very flawed. So, we've got the first one where it's
Yeah.
Now, is there anybody who'd like to change their vote? There's something else.
I mean, I suppose Spartacus is kind of like Dune in the sense, is it really a Kubrick film? But
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably change my vote because New Clockwork Orange was likely not the answer. It was my answer, but not the answer. I sort of feel like Killer's Kiss is the next one in my head because I haven't seen Fear and Desire, so it feels unfair to go for that.
Yeah, I could
Luck
go with
50-50
Killer's Kiss
again.
as well. So
Yeah. Well, Killer's Kiss, everybody's quite good with that one then.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I mean it's basically it's a flawed film with a good ending, basically. Yes. Don't worry, I'm not cheating. I'm just writing down all the thing, and then okay. So next we go to I'll go over to the entertainment value. We'll try and go back and forward a little bit. So for SGS, you'll love this one. Steven Spielberg.
yeah, I actually struggled with this one when I was thinking about it. I'm kind of between Saving Private Ryan and Indiana Jones: Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But if I take my kind of political philosophy out of it, I have to say that Saving Private Ryan is better than Indiana Jones, so I'm gonna go with Indiana Jones: Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah.
That's proper hate that.
Which is bizarre because it's still better than Dial of Destiny.
I mean, I have to confess, I haven't actually seen that many Steven Spielberg films of the last 30 years all the way through. I mean, I gave up on Ready Player One after about 20 minutes. So I'm going to have to go with Crystal Skull as well. It's appalling. The CGI looks as though it's like 2000 CGI. Yeah, it's just awful. But again, I haven't seen a lot of his films in actual fact.
All right, I'm going to go with Hook because Hook's boring as sin. Hook is
Stop
so
it!
dull.
Stop it!
That's one of the ones I haven't seen all the way through. So.
I know it
Yeah, I
gets
haven't
so,
seen it either.
as soon as they go into Neverland, it's in a set and it's dull as hell and it's so bad and it's like when people defend it now, thinking what you actually watching? Are you watching what you imagine as a kid, or do you actually watch it properly? Because it's terrible. It's absolutely appalling. And I've got my expert backup with Spielberg himself, pretty much saying it's appalling, or at least saying it's not one of his proudest moments.
Oh God. This is a lot of hate. If Crystal Skull isn't the worst film that Spielberg's done, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It is terrible. Like, I mean, it's woeful. Everything else is just hate. Yeah, Crystal Skull. I'll even give it a shout out for Lost World, but there you go.
Shia LaBeouf as Marlon Brando. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's terrible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I assumed this was going to be it, but I was going to definitely go and push out for Hook because Hook's god
I knew
awful.
looking at the list, somebody would go for Hook, and I was like, I like that film.
Okay, Ronan, your turn. Michael Mann.
Again, I was going to go with Black Hat, but I probably need to reassess it. So I'm going to go with the obvious one, which is The Keep. I wish he would just let it be released from its keep. Again, it's interesting and would like to see the full version. But at least Black Hat sounds great, looks great. As most Michael Mann films. So I'm just going to go with the obvious one and The Keep. I'm not that excited about Ferrari, I have to be honest. But then I wasn't that excited about The Insider, and it's one of his best films. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to Keep as well. I've got to say, I really like Black Hat, and I'm very much looking forward to the new version. We're going to see the director's cut of it as well. I always thought it was underrated, Black Hat. It's not perfect, but there were some nice things in it. But The Keep is a complete mess, which I adore. But I cannot not admit it's a mess.
Yeah. It's
But
got a
it's
great
just-
cast.
Yeah, it's just like there's so many good things in it. It's like a film, like a disastrous film only a talented person could make.
Yeah, for some, I'm going to say Ali, but change my vote when we come to get consensus to The Keep. Not a huge fan of Ali, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ali or The Keep, so I'm gonna go with Miami Vice.
Oh, that's controversial.
Oh,
The
But
first
I've only seen
of the
6
day.
films by him, so yeah.
Not according to IMDb, it's not that controversial. I was looking at some of the scores, just to make sure,
Yeah.
it wasn't going crazy. But a lot of people don't like Miami Vice, but
yeah,
I knew that would hurt some people on the panel.
yeah. I like Ali as well. So it's like,
It's the only one I haven't seen.
well, it depends what cut you see of it, because the newer cut's a better cut because it's cut down a bit
Right,
more and
okay.
it's streamlined.
I mean, obviously, you could say LA Takedown, but that's a
TV
TV
movie.
movie, dry
Yeah.
run. So I suppose The Keep is certainly more interesting than LA Takedown, which is kind of dull because of the actors, basically. But
So where are we going with this one?
Well, we've 2 for The Keep, haven't we? Because I'm literally going to change mine to The Keep.
And SGS hasn't seen The Keep, so
No,
hopefully by the end of this he'll be dying to see The Keep. By the time
Yeah.
we get
I was
through him.
thinking of watching it before this podcast, but I didn't.
it's got a great cast.
It's not Japanese. If it had been Japanese, you'd have watched it.
Yep. So now we're getting into the more painful ones. I mean, I've spread out one or two that should be a bit more fun, but we're now getting into like directors we all probably like quite a bit. So this one's Terrence Malick. So it's my turn to do the first one for this one. And I'm going to go with one that's genuinely beloved, which is Tree of Life, which got a lot of praise. And the reason I still think it's a very good film, right? But I don't think Brad Pitt works in that film at all. And I think it kind of sinks the film and his scenes, he doesn't quite deliver. And I've liked him in a lot of other films, but I think in this film he's miscast. So I think that kind of hurts the film quite a bit. So it's still a good film, but I would still say the Malick stuff, even like the films that no one likes, like To the Wonder and all those other kind of the more recent ones, I like a lot more than this one. So I'm just going by The Tree of Life. So that's my take.
My Malik watching is not what I believe it should be. But I looked at the list of films I had seen. Tree of Life was my pick as well, funny enough, which sort of seems sacrifice. It's a big film, sometimes a bit heavy. If you're thinking, God, well, let's stick on in the background for a while. Nice watch. Tree of Life, isn't it? I'm gonna go for Tree of Life as well.
Yeah, I watched 4 Terrence Malick films in preparation for this podcast, but
Wow.
I'm gonna go with one of the ones that I watched, which is Song to Song. But I actually like that film too, but it's my least favorite.
Cool.
I need to pick up all of his later ones, but I'm going to go for The New World. Again, I need to rewatch it, but to me, it wasn't really that engaging or particularly interesting. It could have been done in a lot lower running time. But again, I probably need to rewatch it. But the second choice would be The Tree of Life. I think he reaches for the profundity that he got in Thin Red Line, and to me, he doesn't get it. So it's still a good film, but again,
Very good film, but yeah.
so I don't have a problem with going with The Tree of Life.
Okay, Tree of Life it is. I thought I'd be the only person with that one.
So did I was like, oh, God,
It's my favorite one, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah, The New World's my favorite one. So don't worry.
And mine, as it turns out.
Yeah. So
Thin Red
Ronan-
Line's my favourite one.
Well, Thin Red Line was, but actually with Malick it goes back and forth anyway. But at the moment, it's New World. But yeah, I was like, who lunches him? As soon as he said that, I was like, who lunches Ronan straight away? Should we?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as high in Malik as other people are.
Yeah. It's okay, we're teasing. Honest,
all right.
honest, we're teasing. We're
It's
not
all right,
going
I
to
don't take it
murder you.
personally.
Don't worry.
That's fine. Happy release.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to Orson Welles. And that's Chris to start.
Oh, this is impossible. I mean, I haven't seen John Cutie, right? And I haven't seen Other Side of the Wind. And everything else is great. So I'm going to go for Othello. And I think Othello's amazing. But Othello's going to be the answer.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest ones, but I'm actually
Yeah.
gonna agree with Chris and go with Othello. But I feel like if I rewatched it today, I would like it a lot more. But I remember that I wasn't the biggest fan of it, even though it's like beautiful looking movie and
Yeah.
great performance by Wells as well. And it's a good movie, but I need to rewatch it.
I mean, I haven't seen the posthumous ones, but for me, I thought it was actually pretty easy. Mr. Arcaden, which again, the complete proper, well, whichever one of the 20 versions that's on this, it's just a bit of a mess. And again, it had to do different funding. It was shot at different times. And it just, the lead actor just is awful. And there's just not enough Wells in it. So for me, I think it was actually pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm going to say as Ronan here, Mr. Cadden. It's bloody awful. It's the one Wells. I adore Wells, but that's the one film. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it was just. You've seen Mr. Cadden?
I haven't seen it, so
No.
yeah.
I mean, people kind of go, oh, well, it's not that far away from Citizen Kane as far as the story and all that, because it's about an investigation into somebody, but it's a patchwork, and that's being kind, probably.
Yeah, Ronan, have you seen Othello?
Yeah, Othello's amazing.
I say we go for Othello, this one, because only two of us have seen this film, so if we're going to go arguments later on, Othello's probably going to be more interesting than Mr. Cadden.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that because I think Othello's pretty awesome. It's
I mean,
just
I
kind of
probably prefer Macbeth to it anyway. So
Yeah, me too. I adore Macbeth.
Yeah.
Othello's like the other one.
I haven't seen that
other
either. So
Even though another one plus Chains of Midnight, which isn't an official
Yeah.
one, but it's but it did seem like otherwise you two would be left out a little bit if we went for their Mr. Cadden.
I don't mind that because there'll be more that come up later on that I'm like, what am I going to say for this one? Because
All right. No, don't worry. And some of the stuff to come, I'm actually going to go for films I genuinely like.
yeah,
In some cases. Right. So for SGS, you've got F.W. Murnau.
oh yeah, so I actually watched this film that I'm gonna go with like 2 days ago. So it's The Haunted Castle, which is one of his early films. He made this before Nosferatu, and this is the only film by him that I don't like. So
Okay.
I'm going to be controversial because to me this is a complete mystery. It always ends up in the top 10 greatest films of all time. And it's Sunrise. It was either between this or City Girl. It's a good film, but again, I just don't get the adoration for it. So again, it's probably because it's a subject matter I'm not particularly interested in. People.
Oh yeah, bloody people, they're horrible. I'm going for Taboo. This A Story of the South Seas.
I haven't seen that one. So.
Yeah, I'm a massive Murnau fan, but this one never really got me at all. It was just one of those ones I was really looking forward to, and because Sunrise is one of my favorite films of all time, by the way. So
Yeah, that's fine. That's...
yeah,
well,
No,
Taboo
Andy
might
Weir,
be my favorite one.
yeah, yeah. You're not going to win that one, Ronan. But yeah, Taboo it's because it's made by another director plus Murnau. I think the influence of both directors. It was, to me, it never wasn't quite Murnau, but that Murnau is one of the hard ones for me because I adore Murnau. There's so many films I adore, so it's like this is what put in to make it painful for me.
yeah. I've only seen 5 or 6 of these, and I think they're all great. But when I look at it, Taboo was my sort of my bottom one because it's the one that's least like the others, if that makes sense. in terms of style and location and all those things. And I love Sunrise, by the way. Yeah. Phenomenal film.
yeah. Ronan hates the stuff everyone loves, even among film fans.
It's just you either connect with stuff or you don't. So
yeah, it's about romance and things like that. It's just not him.
I don't get it.
I know. It was just too easy a joke not to make.
You humans and your weird behaviour. I just don't understand.
Yeah. So are we going with Taboo then? Since it's, well, I think we're all over the place. There's 2 votes on Taboo, and the rest is kind of.
Obviously, my vote was never going to win. So.
Just like to be controversial. Dear God.
Right. So Ronan, your one is Fritz Lang. To start with.
Again, he's made so many films, and I haven't seen all of them. I've seen enough of them. I think this is another one where the lead character is just miscast. And I'm going to go with Cloak and Dagger with Gary Cooper. It's a spy film, and it just doesn't really work with Cooper. Even the film itself, it's not brilliant. It's fairly solid, and you kind of expect more from Fritz Lang. So I'm going to go with Cloak and Dagger.
Once again, I love Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, I'm going with Human Desire, the one from the 50s.
That would have been my backup. So.
Yeah, because I saw it in the cinema actually, and I just thought that Glenn Ford was. I thought it was kind of dull for Fritz Lang. I feel his heart wasn't in this film. I just felt like he was making it to make it, and I just felt he wasn't quite. It was a remake of a Renoir film, isn't it?
Yeah, La Bête Humaine with Jean Gabin. It can't hold a candle to Gabin's theirs.
So to me, that was the one that was like when I bought it for my collection. It was just like I bought it. I'm not really keen on watching it because it's like it's a one Lang film I don't really like that much. So that's my vote.
I'm gonna go. I wish I'd seen Cloak and Dagger. I really haven't seen it, but I'm gonna go for Human Desire as well. Is either that or Secret Beyond the Door? But yeah, let's go for Human Desire.
Yeah, I haven't seen the ones that you mentioned, but I'm gonna go with the Ministry of Fear. But I think it's like a 4 out of 5 good film still. But
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Human Desire was going to be my second, so fine.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing is Lang actually made a lot of good films. So it's like even these kind of films that didn't quite work, there's so much good stuff in them that it's like, still entertaining. I think Human Desire is the only one I thought wasn't entertaining, even though there was some nice like shots in it. It just wasn't. And I think it's because of Glenn Ford, so I just thought was wrong for the part. I think.
Yeah, I think Human Desire and Cloak and Dagger. If you said it was made by somebody else, there's no Fritz Lang in those films. I don't think.
Yeah.
It feels like it was down at that stage,
Okay, so we're now that's halfway through this first bit. So we're now going into a nice time to start again is Martin Scorsese. So we're going through young'uns, but by young'uns I mean people who were born in mainly in the 40s.
They're only in their late 70s now or 80s.
Yeah, there's one exception to this batch, but so I'm going for Gangs New York. I tried different ones, but it was like I always come back to Gangs. It's like this film's a mess. This film's a total mess. It's like this is a catastrophe. And there's some bad Scorsese films in the last 20 years, but I tried to go for The Irishman, but I thought no, Gangs is much worse. Gangs I have to go for, so I'm going for Gangs.
It was down to 2 for me, and I actually don't mind which of the 2 it bloody is. It's down to The Departed and Gangs, but I have to go for Gangs. How can you take Daniel Day-Lewis and make him objectively terrible and cartoon character, etc.? I can't. I can watch The Departed. I can't watch Gangs in New York anymore. It just it pisses me off. It doesn't even look right.
Yeah, I agree with Chris that it's between The Departed that I have here and Gangs of New York. But I think Gangs of New York is like absolutely atrocious. But The Departed has at least some redeeming qualities. So I'm gonna go with Gangs of New York, which apparently was like a big passion project for Martin Scorsese, but you definitely don't see that in the film.
Yeah, whoopsie daisy. Yeah. I would have to go for The Departed. I mean, Gangs of New York's unwatchable, but The Departed is unbelievably bad filmmaking. I mean, the story about Quaps and Boston. I mean, the accents by Martin Sheen, who was born in Boston, is like terrible. It's like, can we amplify all the terrible Quaps? The CGI is awful. It's just, in Mark Wahlberg's character, who just comes in and swears at everybody, then leaves again. It's so bad. It's so obvious filmmaking. Obviously, the end with the rat. It's just, a teenager could have made it. And Jack Nicholson, I know there's lots of Jack Nicholson fans in here, but how he's allowed to have a performance like that, he's atrocious. They might have well had a big slice of ham sitting next to him. And I mean, Scorsese, who apparently knows what he's doing, it's just an atrocious. And I can't understand why people love this film and give it 5 stars. It's horrible.
Yeah, it has like 4.3 in Letterboxd, and it's in
like,
the top
what are you
150.
watching?
It's a
What are you
4.3.
watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, plus a remake of a really good film as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
It
I
messes up.
ranted about it when I first saw it.
Yeah,
I can
it's
calm
just-
down, but obviously,
I
really
mean,
hasn't.
I'm happy to go with Gangs because that's really bad as well. But The Departed, I think The Departed. I don't. Well, I was going to say nobody thinks Gangs of New York's a great film, but probably some people do. But a
Many
lot of
people
people
do.
think The Departed is a great film. People call it a masterpiece. It's like, what are you watching? It's awful.
Our favorite critic, Chris Tuckman, says that The Departed is essential Scorsese, and it's his favorite one. So
It's so bad from a filmmaking point of view, and how, as a director, you let people make those acting decisions is just beyond me. But I'm happy to go with Gangs of New York as well because that's atrocious.
People get more vociferous about Martin Scorsese here. Like, I'm going through real.
I mean, again, I think it's because we all loved him at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel
And
let
we all
down.
kind of looked to
Love.
him, and then some of the stuff he's made is just egregious.
Yeah,
To be
maybe
fair, his number of flops in the amount of films that he's made is still phenomenally low. Like it's even if you include The Irishman.
The Irishman. I could rant about The Irishman for forever.
Oh, but again, I'm sure there's 4 and 5 star reviews of The Irishman out there.
Sure.
So
Yeah, plus if you're remaking films that are good, I mean, he remade Cape Fear badly, remade Infernal Affairs badly, he remade Silence badly.
yeah, I haven't seen
Stop
that.
remaking films I like.
I like the Cape Fear remake actually, and I haven't seen the original. So
The original is much better. The original is
Yeah.
so much better.
I
Is
like
it-
both versions.
But the thing is, in the
It's cheesy
original,
fun to be had.
Robert Mitchum's scary as Max
Yeah.
Cady,
That's
and
true.
in the remake, De Niro's over the top. Is a completely different
Gone on a
thing.
bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too much ham with De Niro in.
Okay, doke. Next.
Okay, Chris, you've got Cracker, you've got Wes Anderson.
One of my actual favorite directors. There is
I know.
no bad film. No bad film. But if I had to pick one, it's Bottle Rocket. It's the least Wes Anderson styly movie of the lot of them. And I know a lot of people love Bottle Rocket. I love Bottle Rocket, but compared to everything else in this list, I've tried to go back and forward. Yeah, it has to be Bottle Rocket for me.
yeah, I've seen everything except Asteroid City. It's between Isle of Dogs and Bottle Rocket. For me, Isle of Dogs has like 2 of my favorite things, Japan and dogs, but it still isn't one of my favorite ones. But I'm gonna go with Bottle Rocket. I like the film, but it doesn't have the kind of refinement of the style and stuff as it is its first film.
Yeah, well, I don't love Bottle Rocket. It's a good film, but I mean, it's maybe unfair. It's his first film.
For sure.
But again, it's the least Wes Anderson film. So
Well, I'm going different from the rest of you. I'm going for 13 Unlimited, which I think is his. It was a film I think he stumbled a little bit with, then he pulled himself back together. because I just feel it's a bit unfocused and it wanders way too much. And I just felt like at that point he was getting a bit like too stylized, and he did that film, and then after that he came back to mixing story with style. But for me, that one was the one where it was a big stumble, and it's the one I don't watch at all really because I just don't like it. Because I really like Bottle Rocket, but Darjeeling Limited, I don't. I'll need to watch it again.
That's a fair answer, though. I think Darjeeling does sort of stick out in the middle of his filmography a little bit. Mainly because I think Adrian Brody is the main cast, and he doesn't. I don't think he carries the film particularly well. You know.
I mean, I was expecting it to be a lot worse because all I'd heard was it's his worst film, and I actually quite liked it. I mean, it's not one of my favourites, but I think it's just because everybody said it was so bad. But
yeah, I think if you go in knowing it's not one of his best ones, it's quite fine. It's just if you I went in watching it, looking forward to it because I've been watching his other films, and it was like, oh, I think it came out not long after the Scorsese one you ranted about as well. So Bottle Rocket then for that one. Yeah. Damn, I'm really messing up here. Well, the simple thing of putting something bold is actually making my life hell. Right.
Feels like you should have had an assistant do that, like a Debbie McGee. That's what we needed.
I've got an assistant. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't get fired. He wouldn't do it. He said he'd rather redecorate his screening rooms and things like
yeah.
that. So, SGS, you've got a director who's completely untypical of your taste. So I'm happy to give him to you. Is Brian De Palma.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with Mission Impossible because I don't really like that franchise overall, and I've never really liked these type of action films. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Mission Impossible.
I was gonna go with Obsession just because it's fairly dull, and again miscast with Cliff Robertson, who does a good impersonation of Wood throughout his whole career. But I'm actually going to change it to Mission Impossible because I'd kind of forgotten about that one. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm going for Bonfire of Vanities, which actually is a disaster. It's like one of those films that famously he got everything wrong, and actually. So I'm not going for a good film that actually you two just don't like. I'm actually going for a bad film.
I've never seen Bonfire of the Vanities, so
it's not good. It's really not good. So that's my choice, Bonfire of Vanities.
Unlike other directors, Brian De Palma has lots of choices to pick from. For such a man that's made such many great films. I mean, Mission Impossible is fucking brilliant. I'm going Snake Eyes. I mean, the only redeeming thing about Snake Eyes is the fact that Nick Cage gets to be as Nick Cage as he can ever be in it. I don't think it's good at all. So Snake Eyes is mine.
All right, so it's Mission Impossible then.
It is.
Yeah. A film I really like, so I knew this was going to happen.
Voight, Emmanuel Bayard, Tom Cruise. It's a great movie.
It's a lot of fun.
The best Mission Impossible.
We're not here for fun. We don't watch films for fun.
Yeah, it's my favorite that series as well. But some of these heathens can't enjoy themselves.
It's not all action. It's all anime.
It's all suspense.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the last time I watched it was like 17 years ago or something like that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing of this one is it's completely random, malicious thing, and
it's anti-recency bias.
It's like carpet bombing, in my opinions. It's fine.
Well, that's why I chose this one. Actually, I thought, well, this is kind of a weird one because I didn't want to have them all be like auteurs. I wanted a few fun ones just to kind of break up a little bit. So
that's cool.
Yep. So
no Rennie Harlin though.
No Rennie Harlin, yeah.
There'd be no choices for that.
Yeah. So Solitary Ronin, you get John Carpenter.
There's a few ways to go with this, but you have to respect him for getting out while he did, or when he did. I haven't actually seen his last film, but for me, it was a choice between two on a label that I love. So I'm going to go with vampires rather than Mars, but you could have went with either. Again, casting problems when you involve a Baldwin. You are risking things. On paper, it should have been a lot better than it is. The villain's not very good. Yeah, it's a close run thing, but vampires.
Okay, I'm going to go for Village of the Damned. Which is,
That's a good shout as well.
Which is one of those films that I don't hate, but it's a bit of a mess. It's like there are bits cut out of it. It feels like there's some casting decisions that don't work, like Kirstie Alley. And Christopher Reeve's not the best lead man. Some of the supporting parts aren't good. The idea's good, but it's just kind of a drag. And even though the last few minutes really work, most of it doesn't work. And it's like, you can tell his heart wasn't in it. He didn't want to do this film. It's especially annoying because it came after In the Mouth of Madness, which really worked. And you're feeling he was just doing this to get a paycheck. So, yeah, for me, it's Village of the Damned.
Pretty easy for me. Vampires, it is. Vampires just makes me want to watch From Dusk to Dawn, which I don't even think is that good a thing.
I like vampires, but that's me.
I'm not saying I dislike it. It's more. It just makes me want to watch another movie.
Yeah,
that does what he wants to do a bit better, I think.
Yeah, Vampires is another film I watched like 17 years ago, but I'm actually gonna go with Dark Star, and I know Nathaniel's gonna hunt me down, but yeah, this is one of the dullest and most boring and most awful films I've ever seen. So I'm sorry about that, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, you're getting hunted down like a dog. Yeah, you're definitely going to get hunted down like a dog. There's no chance. I'm going to get the train. I'm going to get the plane ticket sorted out just now.
I mean,
he was only 12 when he made it. I mean,
I was going to say he's not wrong, about Dark Star, but it has a charm. It has the charm that I can look at.
Well, it was a student film.
Yeah.
It was blown up. So I mean, one of those things. It's like it wasn't even a professional film. So I think you've got to give it some slack. But okay, so it's vampires then.
Okay.
Yeah. My biggest problem at the moment is just getting dealing with these blooming Word documents. Right. So now we're going to Akira Kurosawa. We're going back to the painful ones. So the last four, I think, were painful for everybody. I left the most brutal for last. So we're going for Kurosawa. So I'm going for Hidden Fortress, which I know people will hate because everyone loves that film apart from me. Because I think it's pretty dull.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I don't get why people love that film. So I'm going for Hidden Fortress, even though I know it won't be the choice of everyone else. I don't care.
This is obviously very tough, and in nearly all of these cases where it's really tough, you end up going for their first film. In some way, we're trying to go for Senshiro Sugata as well, just because it's just not quite as beautiful, not quite as thing as some of the rest ones. There is a whole swathe in the early middle that I haven't seen, so I'm gonna go for Senshiro Sugata.
Look at the grass, the wind. It's got great wind.
Mizuguchi does it better.
You're saying Mizuguchi's wind's better than Kurosawa's wind?
Well, and early on.
Yeah, I have seen all of Kurosawa's films, so there are like maybe a handful to choose from, but I'm gonna go with the Most Beautiful, which is one of his early films, and this is definitely his, I think, most mediocre and dull and lifeless film, but I could have gone with Sanshiro Sugata 1 or 2 as well, but I'm gonna go with the Most Beautiful.
Yeah, for me it was pretty easy. I'm going to go with Most Beautiful as well. Ironically, one of the few Kurosawa films that features women, and women are the most important part of the film. But unfortunately, it's probably his worst because it is propaganda, basically. Yeah, so the Most Beautiful, ironically, isn't his most beautiful.
Oh, that's right. I've never seen that film, so I can't say anything. So
I mean, I would say Hidden Fortress is maybe a little overrated. For me, it's a 4 rather than a 5, but I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. Oh, I thought this was the one I could be my most bitchiest on, is the Hidden Fortress. Right. So, Chris, you've got Robert Bresson.
Jesus Christ.
You get all the really worst ones, don't you?
Oh, this is the cracker. Right, I'm going to go for one. This is the person. Like, this is objectively a brilliant film, right? But it's so difficult to watch. It's some shit, right? It's difficult to watch kind of throughout, and I think I'm just going for that reason rather than it being anywhere near what we call a worst movie or anything like that. I look at the rest of the list and everything else I've seen, just either more enjoyable to watch, slightly better in some ways, so Michette's for mine. It'll not win.
Yeah, so just like with Kurosawa, I've seen all of Bresson's films, including the short film that he did as his first film, but I'm going to go with his first feature film, which is called Angels of Sin. Not many people have seen this one, but it's a non-film, and non-films are usually good, including this one. But it's definitely not one of its best films, and it doesn't have the same kind of spiritual or intellectual density as his later works, and it doesn't have the visual prowess yet, but it's still a good film.
Yeah. I haven't seen all of his films. I've still to see his later ones that Nazrin kindly provided for me. I still haven't watched them. So me, I'm sure it's not that controversial, but I'm going to go with The Devil probably. Again, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I didn't like it that much compared to his other masterworks. I mean, you could go in with his earlier films because they're not quite full-blown Bresson, but I'm going to go with The Devil probably.
Right. Well, I'm going for a different one from all of you. I'm going for Les Dames du Bois de Boulogne.
Yeah, that's un-Bresson-like, really.
Yeah, that one is like, it's very good, but it does feel a bit more like he's learning stuff, and you feel like he's working it out, and then he's going to go on to do his other films after that. So for me, even though it's a good film, it is a little slow, and not in a way that Bresson would do later, where the slowness was part of the film. I just felt it was a bit, not quite there yet. But so what do we do now? Because we've all got different ones. So
I'm happy to go with that one just because it is early and perhaps non-Bresson like.
Yeah,
it's whether you want to go with what is the worst Bressonian Bresson film, which I don't know what the answer is. Well, I'll probably do It's The Devil, probably.
Yeah.
But
have you seen SGS?
Yeah, I'm fine with going with your pick. So, yeah, Les Dames du Boulogne.
I haven't seen it, but let's go with it because Michette's a terrible answer to this question.
Yeah, Mouchette is my favorite. So.
Yeah, Devil probably is one of my favorites. So it's, but it's okay when you get to the next choice. I'm definitely going to choose someone that's one of people's favorites. So we're going to Tarkovsky for SGS as the start.
Yeah, this is the hardest one for me because he's a director who only made masterpieces, basically.
I know, it's so good to set it up.
Yeah. So I was thinking like three different films. So Nostalgia, The Sacrifice, and Mirror, actually, which is a very controversial one. I think if I had rewatched Nostalgia and The Sacrifice, I might have done this differently, but I'm gonna go with Mirror, which is again very controversial. But I think this is a great film, but I don't have the similar type of emotional connection to this as many other people do. But yeah, it's a great film, and I feel like it will click with me fully, like eventually. But yeah.
For me, it wasn't that difficult. It's Sacrifice. I've never been a huge fan. I'm a fan of parts of it, but to me, it's not quite the same as these other masterpieces.
Okay, I'm going for Andrei Rublev, which I know is revered, but it's the one I connect with least. It's kind of like what Ronan was saying about The Sacrifice for him. For me, it's Andrei Rublev, the one I don't connect with as much. And just one of those things, I don't connect with it. I think that's the answer for all three of us so far, is that's the one we don't connect with as much. really. So, Chris,
Well, this is going to be a car crash because I haven't seen Nostalgia and Sacrifice, and to me, the only answer you can give in that regard is Mirror, and I think I might have even put it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd when I was doing those review. But everything else is just, and I think exactly the same thing as SGS. I just think if I watch that film another couple of times, it'll be on the level with everything else. But on a first watch, I was like, it feels like mimicking some of other Tarkovsky's ideas and stuff like that, but doesn't quite pull it off in the first watch or second watch that I did before. So Mirror's mine as well.
all right, so it's Mirror then. It's still quite a good one. It's like
It's a pretty good movie.
I did not expect to win this one. I thought there's no one winning this one. I'm
I
choosing
think
one of everyone's favorites ones. It's like okay,
Yeah, I think Mirror is the highest ranked one in the Sight and Sound poll. So
right.
yeah,
I mean, it's actually interesting nobody picked Ivan's Childhood. I mean, I absolutely adore Ivan's Childhood,
Oh,
but
it's
a lot of
amazing.
people call that his worst because
I
it's
love it,
conventional.
so, yeah.
You know, it's conventional, it's short, you know, but
Yeah.
quite good to see that nobody thinks so.
Yeah, because I've watched
It's
most of them
awesome.
last year, and
Perfect.
it would it would have been mine, but because I watched it again last year and I saw it, and as Chris likes to mock, I saw it projected.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
There it is. There's a reference. We nearly got through that.
Yes. Tick.
Yeah. Right. So I saw it recently, and it went up
Yeah,
up
it's
quite a bit.
beautiful.
Yeah. So
The ending's beautiful.
yeah. So for one more, and it's quite good that it went to Ronan to actually give the choice. It's Kieslowski.
Obviously, I adore the man. Still haven't recovered after he died. It's a tragedy. Michael Bay lives on. But for me, it was pretty easy. It's The Scar. One of his early ones, and it's probably the kind of least interesting to me, at least. I said at least quite a lot. You know, Camera Buff, Blind Chance, No End are all far superior to The Scar. Still a good film, but kind of dry and not as engaging as those other three, let alone the rest of his career. So for me, it's fairly straightforward. It's The Scar.
Yeah, I'm going with Blind Chance, and it's a really good film. I just thought it was a bit drier than some of his other films. But that's just personal opinion. It's not like I can point to anything objectively. It's just like I personally found it a little bit drier than some of the other films. But that's that you compare it to Decalogue or
Yeah.
Three Colors trilogy. Most things look bad compared to them. So it's there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to be really controversial and say something like White or something, but I'm going to Scar as well.
yeah, I watched two Kieslowski films in preparation for this. One of them was The Scar, and then the other one was No End. And I'm gonna go with The Scar as well. It's a good film, like Ronin said, but definitely his worst one.
That's a film I know I've watched, but from years ago, and I can barely remember it.
Yeah, it's fairly forgettable, to be honest. It's nothing really stands out from it, unlike for me, Blind Chance or No End or Camera Buff.
You see, I remembered Blind Chance more than anything else because I thought that it just was something. And it's even only the second half more than anything. It wasn't even like all the way
Yeah,
through.
it's also more, I think, the lead actor doesn't have the kind of charisma of, say, Jerry Starr or something like that. Yeah. Camera Buff. So.
Right, so that's us chosen the films. It only took us an hour.
And for the next 3 hours,
We'll fight about it.
This is worst one wins.
No, it's the best of the worst. No.
The best worst film wins. Okay.
Yeah. We're not going all the way down to try to get the worst. I mean, let's not give Michael Mann too much of an advantage by going and doing that thing.
I think Scorsese would have the advantage with that.
I know, but so again, I talk about a film I like. I tried to make sure I didn't do one I didn't like. So we're going for. So I'll go back and forward between one we covered. So we'll start off with David Lynch versus Stanley Kubrick, which is Dune versus Killer's Kiss. See what was the best of these two worst ones.
I would definitely want to watch. If we were finishing this recording right now and had to watch one of these two movies, I'd definitely be watching Dune.
Yeah, me
Agreed.
too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, Dune is a mess, but it's a mess made by an auteur, and there's something fascinating about it. So there's some great bits and some terrible bits, but it's something interesting there. Like, I mean, I have I've got two versions of the 4K. That tells you something about how weird the one for that film is.
Yeah, there are things about the Dune that I like. Like I really like the set design, for example. I think it looks quite good. And then I'm a Kyle MacLachlan fanboy, even though this isn't his best performance, but I still like him. But yeah,
It has a phenomenal cast.
Yeah,
It does.
Dean Stockwell is a creepy doctor.
candy color clown, take all the Sandman.
Yeah, I know. I should not. As soon as I said that, I was like, "Oh god, I'm going to set them off." Yeah. I think that was quite an easy one. Yeah. Honestly, I think Kubrick would have voted for Dune as well over Killer's Kiss.
Oh dear.
Right. So now, we've got Spielberg with Crystal Skull versus Michael Mann with The Keep.
That's not much of a battle, I'm afraid.
Now, I'd go The Keep instantly for this one.
Agreed.
Yep.
Well, I haven't seen The Keep, so I'm gonna go with Indiana Jones.
Yeah. You
Got
have
the
to see,
atomic bomb scene alone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, you have to see The Keep. The Keep's weird. The Keep is genuinely weird.
You're never going to get to see it though, unless you can find the DVD.
Yeah. You get it online. I mean, I've got the widescreen on SD from Play Google.
Yeah, you wouldn't even see it if you knocked Michael Mann's front door.
Yeah. So now we're going to we've had some fun ones. Now we're going to the first heavyweight one.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Malick versus Orson Welles with Tree of Life versus Othello.
I would rather watch Othello.
I'd 100% agree.
I'd go for Tree of Life.
No pressure.
Yeah, I would go with Tree of Life. Yeah, Tree of Life because it's a masterpiece to me. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the how do we? This is the one we try and discuss and see. Okay, the problem with this one is they're both good films.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I have seen Othello more times than I've seen The Tree of Life.
Yeah,
That is also true. Yeah.
I'm not the opposite way around. I've seen Tree of Life more than Othello.
What I would say about this is we have one person on the panel here that objectively loves one of these two films, whereas I like both of them. And I think that should carry slightly more weight because, it's not that big a gap between the two of them for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like I'd happily watch either of them, to be honest, even though I've got problems with Brad Pitt in that film. The actual space sequence is amazing, and some of the stuff with the boys is amazing. Mm-hmm. And Othello, some of the Iago is amazing, and some of the backgrounds are amazing. It's like it's two geniuses that work.
Yeah, it is. Very much so.
Yeah, I hate Brad Pitt too, but I love everything else in the film. So, and by the way, one of the criticisms I have for the more recent Malick films is the casting choices. Like I hate Ben Affleck, I don't like Christian Bale, I don't like Ryan Gosling, and I think these types of actors don't really fit these type of art house films because I always see the actors, I don't see the characters or human beings. I just see these millionaire red carpet assholes in those films, and they don't just fit the films that well. Yeah.
So, I think you could say the same thing about New World. Even Colin Farrell, while he's actually fine in the movie, in fact, I would say some good in some parts, it's still Colin Farrell playing John Smith. Yeah, it's a bit odd.
Yeah. I have a different opinion. I think they're fine, those actors in those films, but I know some people don't like them, so it's just different tastes. Yeah.
And the other thing that kind of bothered me was the narration when it has that whispery, mumbling thing in every film, and yeah, that kind of annoys me. And that's what I always complain about with Scorsese too, that he always has to have narration in every film. Yeah.
So, what are we going with then?
I'm fine with both, so yeah.
I'm gonna support my friend SGS here because he loves it so much, and I'm changing my Othello vote to Tree of Life.
All right.
Yeah, let's go for Tree of Life.
Yeah.
Need to rewatch it.
Yeah. It's on my rewatch for the plans for the next couple of months for my channel anyway. So I'm going to watch the long version. And
Projected?
of course,
I
I have to annoy Chris.
Yes, indeed. It's just because I haven't got one, right? Let's
No,
be 100%
I
fair.
know it's jealousy. That's why I have
okay.
to bring it
How
up.
does
It makes me feel better at myself.
Yeah, well,
Once you go projected, you'll never go back.
Yeah. Ronan was my enabler. So it's like so I have to spread the word now. So I started with him, not me. I was a mere victim.
okay, Ronan, that's it. You're getting it next time.
I just don't mention it as much. It's just assumed.
Yeah. I absolutely the joy of having a projector. To him, it's passy. It's like, yeah.
Crystal Skull on projector. Mwah, chef's kiss.
I'd have to buy it first.
That's right.
A double bill of Gangs of New York and Crystal.
Yeah.
5
I've done
hours
Gangs
of
New York in
torture.
projector. Actually, it was not good. It made it look so much worse.
Oh, God.
Because from a channel, I just thought I'll watch the projector just to quit Scorsese film, and it was like, oh, that's not a good idea. This is really bad. Yeah. So now we've got Murnau with Taboo and Fritzland with Human Desire.
I haven't seen Taboo, so I can't really speak, but Human Desire is fairly bland.
Yeah. Well,
But I haven't seen Human Desire, so
But I'd go for Taboo, to be honest, because it's a good film that I don't care for compared to Human Desire, which is
It's fairly forgettable.
Yeah.
There's any amount of other films in the genre that I'd rather watch. Taboo's kind of at least sort of unique in its own way. Let's go for Taboo. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love
the
Taboo,
better
so yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how much you love Taboo in a minute, SGS. You see who you have to face it off against. Okay, we spoke about it, so here it comes. You have Gang New York versus Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket all day.
Bottle Rocket, yeah.
Yeah, Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, I'm a person who adores Bottle Rocket anyway. Like I never voted, so
It's a really good movie.
it seems this one seems like the easiest one ever.
Yeah.
It's like
Owen Wilson against Daniel Day-Lewis chewing scenery.
yeah. So we've got Mission Impossible versus Vampires.
I honestly will lose my shit, right?
Yeah. Basically, it's an obvious one for quality.
Yeah, but Mission Impossible isn't an indicator.
that is yet.
I'll let you have Mission Impossible.
I would rather watch Vampires. Actually. I don't remember anything about it, but I would rather watch it than Mission Impossible.
That's a perfect. And don't worry, the way this one comes out is there's no way it's getting through to the next round. Whoever wins this one.
We'll do Mission Impossible.
Good.
Yeah. This was the one so that at least one of these two directors go through in the first round.
Yeah.
Right. We've got the most beautiful versus La Dames du Bois de Boulogne.
Yeah, it's Bresson, probably.
I haven't
the
seen it,
Bresson
but
film.
I'd rather watch the Bresson film for sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Kurosawa one, so but yeah, I'm happy to go for the Bresson one since I've seen
Yeah,
it.
the
And even
Bresson
though,
film is good, but the Kurosawa film is mediocre. So let's go
Yep.
with Bresson.
yeah. So now we've got Tarkovsky versus with Mirror versus Scar Kieslowski.
Easy.
Look at the pain in Ronan's face.
No, I would probably go with Mirror.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
that
Mirror.
close, to be
Mirror.
honest.
Yeah, okay, Mirror then.
It's a great movie.
I've only seen Mirror, so it's or I've seen Scar, but it's been so long I've forgotten most of it. So
It's understandable.
yeah. So now we've got so we're going 1 verse 1, 2 verse 2, 3 verse 3, 4 verse 4. So they're going opposite each other now, and then we'll kind of get the best of the best in a. What I was thinking of doing is we'll do 1v1, 2v2, and then the last 4 we'll just put down into
Put it together. Yeah.
Yeah, so we discuss all 4 of them rather than the right. So we've got David Lynch's Dune versus Michael Mann's The Keep, which is I never thought I'd actually have these two opposite each other. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was just putting them in. I'd quite go for Dune, to be honest with you, even though I love The Keep.
Yeah, I think June. Yeah,
June's my answer as well.
It's the dark horse that's
yeah, but remember
like a comet.
Remember the Criterion thing that they won the best boutique label, and there's the one we thought would never win, go through to the end.
That's right.
So,
That's
it's like
right.
That's the joy of doing these. The little thing it could. So,
Yeah,
so who?
But it is quite a famously bad or worse movie, if you know what I mean, as well. Like, it is one of the first answers if you were to ask somebody about a bad movie from a good director. A lot of people will pick Dune before it, so it sort of is at least thematically fitting.
Yeah, even though it's not actually that bad.
That bad, exactly. I would agree. Yeah.
So we going with Dune then?
Yeah.
For me, yes, sure.
I'm sadly proud of this one because it's like it seems so strange to do it. We've got Tree of Life versus Taboo.
Well, I haven't seen Taboo, so I would have to say Tree of Life.
Yeah, I'd go Tree of Life as well, easily.
I would have said Taboo for this, but Tree of Life's going to win it. Yeah.
Yep. Right, we've got Bottle Rocket versus Mission Impossible.
I suppose Bottle Rocket, but again, I'm not a huge fan of Bottle Rocket, but I would say Bottle Rocket.
I'd say Bottle Rocket.
I would say Mission Impossible here, and I like whether that's genuinely top 5 directors of all time for me, but I really, really like the first Mission Impossible a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take Bottle Rocket over any Mission Impossible film. Although I haven't seen the last three.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I thought Bottle Rocket was going to win it, even though I really like Mission Impossible, but I like Bottle Rocket more.
That's fair. Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm the biggest De Palma fan in this thing, and even I'm choosing Bottle Rocket over De Palma one. Honestly, I thought it would be a different one. Would get to the De Palma one. I thought he'd been going pretty quick. Bresson's La Dames de Boulogne or Tarkovsky's Mirror.
Tarkovsky.
Yeah,
Tarkovsky.
Yeah,
it's subjectively a brilliant film.
Yeah, I know. It's like
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while, but
so we're down to the last 4, and who'd have thought that we've got Dune, Malik, Wes Anderson, and Tarkovsky, and they fighting it off. I'm bizarrely proud we've still got Dune in here, even though it didn't have a chance in hell now.
Well, between those 4, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Well, my
films.
Yeah, my favorite one is the Tree of Life out of these, but I think Mirror is probably the best film.
Actually, I'm good for Tree of Life as well.
I would go for Mirror.
You've got it's Mirror. So 50-50, head to head.
Do you want to say it's a tie then between Mirror and Tree of Life, or I can
But I'm
switch to
happy to go with Mirror as well. so-
Yeah, yeah. Well, we did a tie last time. I think Mirror's probably the one, but so Mirror's one and Tree of Life's the runners up then, basically, because of Brad Pitt. Basically, he blew it.
Like
Brad
the
Pitt's fault.
The two most arthousey of art house directors made it to the last two as well. I think
Yeah.
that's interesting to point out.
Yeah,
that their
and
quality of work is so high.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that we actually got like some of the real. I mean, even when you go towards before who you knocked out before, you had Michael Mann, you had Murnau,
Yes.
and you had Bresson. So it was like, and Brian De Palma for a film that shouldn't have been there. But yeah, no, I think it's quite good. Somebody enjoyed that bit of craziness.
It was
That
fun.
was a lot of fun.
I like how inventive that was and how I didn't understand the instruction at all. Although when I read back of the messages, it's quite clear what it was.
Doing too many podcasts, that's what it is.
I know that's exactly what it is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I thought it'd be good to have a fun one just to start because we're coming back because we've been running out and been away for a little bit. But so we thought it'd be fun to do one that's a bit sillier.
Yeah.
And to be honest, SGS has taken up most of the subjects over the last month. There's nothing left.
The bracket boss.
Yeah.
The bracket boss, I like that.
Not to make you feel guilty, SGS, at all. But what's left of the rest of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, at least an Arrow release didn't win. Because it won the boutique battle, so
That's
shockingly.
did Arrow win?
Arrow
Yeah,
won the
That
medal.
was the shock.
I thought it was something else. I think Arrow
No, it was
got-
Arrow.
All right.
It was
okay.
Arrow.
Wow. Shows how much I remember who won. I just remember the conversations more than who won. I don't
It
really
was
care
about
if
a
I
year
care.
ago or over
Yeah.
a year ago, so
Yeah, it was.
To be honest, I'm not really not caring about who wins and who loses and most of these kind of things. I'm just
Yeah.
taking part that counts.
Yeah.
It's the journey and the fights.
Yes.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Saying
so it's-
Miami Vice isn't very good.
I know. He's-
You just need to watch it another 12 times and then you'll
Yeah.
realise.
and you have to watch the director's cut as well a few times.
Yeah, I was actually kind of confused with the film that whether I liked it or didn't like it. So yeah,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like a mix of highbrow and lowbrow. So yeah,
Yeah, so it's a kind of weird. I think either connected. It's one of those weird ones that people either love or hate. It's that kind of film. So it's
I mean, I will say it is a bit of a grower as well. Because the first time I watched it, I thought it was good. But then the more times I watched it, I realised it's really good.
it's an obsessive film more than anything, which really kind of is the big thing for it. Is like it's really obsessive. So if you have an obsessive personality, you play more into it. But
Yeah, once you get over Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx, who again aren't my favourite actors in the world, but once you
even
kind
though
of
you
get
seem
into
to like a lot of Colin Farrell films,
yeah, The Lobster.
one or two, The Lobster,
yeah.
The Lobster, obviously. Yeah.
he's basically the
From the
modern
Signal.
Killing
Josh
of a
C.
Sacred
Scott for you.
Deer.
Yeah.
Josh C. Scott, Colin Farrell, they're pretty much
Yeah,
different
I'm not a big fan
generations.
of George C. Scott.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of actors who are in a lot of films you like.
Yeah.
But it's strange that
Yeah,
maybe the
that's of
similar
your
taste to you.
After your standards.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's. I think it's quite good though. You talk about directors who have not the films that get ignored. Because if you talk about Malick, you talk about Badlands,
Mhm.
Thin Red Line, that kind of stuff. But it's some of his early films. Then you talk about his recent releases done well, but there's a lot of them that you kind of get ignored. If you talk about David Lynch, it's always about the Twin Peaks or it's about Blue Velvet. Then you have to listen to SGS do his imitations for about 3 minutes, and then you go on.
Don't you fucking look at me.
Me.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to get people to talk about the films that these directors make that aren't as well liked, but can be quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, apart from the Human Desire and Toy Gang New York, most of these films I'd happily watch again. Really,
Yeah.
Maybe Crystal Skull would be a bit of a.
Yeah,
but the rest of them would probably be okay. I mean, I'd be okay watching Vampires again quite easily.
I watch Vampires again.
Yeah.
I wish I was watching Dust to Dawn.
I mean, sometimes, there's obviously reasons for films not working, or casting issues, or studio problems, or having to have it cut or reshot and stuff. So
yeah, no, because I mean, like, anyone watch my channel, I like doing some films. I cover the films that don't quite work, or the films that are disastrous. It's quite good to look into why they didn't work. What was the problem? So it's and if you look at Rodan's stuff, he looks at really obscure films as well that are maybe not seen very often. So it's a case of trying to find things that are not covered as much, but are worthy of your time. Or in my case, sometimes they're really not worthy of your time, and I have to warn you not to watch them.
yeah, but sometimes the story of those films is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking specifically of the Haunting remake.
I've given that a miss. So.
Oh, that it was like that's thing. I should watch this again for my channel. I watched it again for my channel. I was like, oh shit, what did I do to myself? What did I do?
It's the fact that both of them are on the premium collection. The premium collection decided to do the remake as well.
Yeah, that can make you say to them, you can't call yourself premium anymore. You've got Haunting remake in your channel. No, you're not premium at all. It was far from it as possible. Not that was a disturbing movie for all the wrong reasons for me.
No.
But
we'll have to think of another one.
Well, I'm going to watch one for Vanity soon.
Oh.
For my channel. Which is why I brought it up earlier. It's like I know it's on my list. I've got a few crackers for the what the hell is this? I've got quite a few really dodgy stuff. Good. But I've got some other stuff like the Buddha trilogy that SGS would tell me which ones to watch in order. Yeah. So they're planned as well, and War and Peace. So I've got a bunch of them planned now for what to watch. So hopefully I'll be back this week at some point with some videos. Hopefully, if everything goes right.
And hopefully we'll be back with another Ronan Nazrin Talks at some point.
Yeah, at some point, yeah. Once we can be bothered.
2024 is going to be a great year.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost Christmas now, so...
It is.
Yeah. Don't jinx it. But say it's going to be great this time of year. Because, January 1st, the bombs will drop, and that'll be us over. And it's like, all because Chris said it would be a great year. It's like nuclear Armageddon, and that's it all over.
Yeah, whoever drops the bombs will make a point of putting in the press release.
It was Chris's fault.
We were going to go with December the 30th, but we seen a clip.
Yes.
And we thought we'll hold off for a few days.
Putin will say, I was bored on YouTube one day and I saw this Irish guy say 2024 is going to be a great year, and I decided, no, it's not. The bombs are falling.
Yeah. So I came off my horse, put my top back on, and then sent the missiles.
Oh, God.
The good news is none of them work, and they all just went spooked and nothing happened. The bad news is Americans saw that and they fired all their missiles and destroyed the world.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go for the whole... it'll not be so bad because none of us will be here to remember it or talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, we need to do a Rennie Harlin special before the end of the world. So, yeah.
You want me to hunt you down like a dog? Do you really want me to hunt you down? I will.
That might signal the end of the world. That might be one of the clues.
Yeah. I'm dying to talk about Cutthroat Island and the Covenant.
There's a 4K of Cutthroat Island out.
Cutthroat Island's one of my runs I'm planning for. What the hell is this? Have you watched that Cutthroat Island?
Yeah, as a kid, but it was always on TV here. So.
I'll have to drag you into this one when I do Cutthroat Island then, because I think it's too good a thing not to do is to drag you into the Comfort Island discussion because when I finally watch it, because it's on my to-do list for soon.
How could it have failed?
What?
How could it have failed?
Yeah, how could it have failed? That's what
It's
everyone's
better-
watching.
It's
I
better
did-
than Pirates of the Caribbean, though.
Oh. Who knows?
Yeah.
I did watch Cliffhanger the other day, and I thought this is just great. Capital G, great.
It's great trash. It really is
Yeah.
great trash.
Oh, 1,000,000%. It's
Like every bit of dialogue clunks along like it's, you know, it's like written by a brain dead monkey, but it still kind of works despite.
Do you know,
all its-
the whole film feels like one of those action adventure Stephen Livingston in Jackson books. You know, where you kind of go, if you want this to happen, if you want this to happen, go to this page. That's what that entire film feels like. It's like it almost feels like it pauses at times to go, "What we're gonna go that way? We're gonna go that way." I love it.
Actually saw it in the cinema.
So that
Yeah.
Of course, it does
I-
sadden me when Christopher Walken was actually going to be the lead villain, and John Lithgow's character was going to be his sidekick,
Yeah.
but he pulled out. He's
Oh.
allergic to snow.
There you go.
But it's really fun to live here in Finland when Rennie Harlin and his wife are always on the news like every week. So yeah, he gets celebrities here. So
Yes. He went to
Does-
holiday
he
and
does
back
deserve
home. Yeah. Well, but then again, he did make that terrible Exorcist film, the beginning. That's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, but still better than the Strader one, like I've always said.
No way. You're insane.
It's time to sign off, folks, before the black squares between us get broken.
Oh, yeah. So we'll sign off. Thanks for watching this insanity. Hope you
There will
enjoyed
be
it.
violence off screen after that comment.
Yeah.
Paul.
Oh, yeah. There may be lawsuits involved for that last comment. I mean, come on. Come on, SGS. Come on. Keep it civilized.
Paul Schrader's watching this.
Yeah. So thank you, our guests. Thanks, SGS. Thank you, Chris.
Yes,
you.
thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yep.
So,
And we hope you enjoyed it. So that's us. I was waiting for somebody to turn it off and I realized that's my job. So, yep. Bye.
Bye.